have been awful to this planet. Anthropogenic Earth, the impact that the human population has had, has been summarised by Rockstrom in these two papers published in Science in 2009 and 2014. And like any biological system, the Earth can resolve and have homeostatic impact, so it can return back to a homeostatic position. In other words, heal itself like any biological system. But just like an elastic band, if you pull an elastic band too far, you will remove its elasticity and its ability to return back to its natural state. Rockstrom showed that the anthropogenic impact on the planet has extended the planetary boundaries in certain sectors, particularly in terms of the nitrogen cycle and loss of biodiversity. So it is true, we need to be open and honest. We are facing major crises. What's the reason for this? Well, there's two main reasons. First of all, rising human population. Second, rising demand for economic growth. There's only been one time where we have seen a significant reduction in greenhouse gases across the planet. That was 2008. What happened in 2008? We had a significant drop in economic growth. As countries and people get richer, they consume more. That is the driver. If we were any other species on this planet, we'll be talking about a cull. But of course we can't. So therefore we need to change the way that we utilise resources and think about sustainability, and a healthy, balanced diet is a key component of that. It's been much in the media, and lots of blame has been put on our rising consumption. I do move around a bit, but make sure I don't go out the door. Our rising demand for resources. And one of the ones that's been concentrated on is this increasing demand for meat. So this is some analysis taken from the FAO. The redder the country, the greater the increase in demand for meat. And this global analysis has been used by scientists like me to produce very, very interesting publication about the impact that meat, and particularly livestock consumption, is having on the planet. And the IPCC developed this metric, carbon dioxide equivalents per kilogram of product, to compare our consumption patterns and the potential impact it can have on global warming. Now, the IPCC, when it developed this metric, never intended it to be used the way that we currently use it, to amalgamate all greenhouse gases and to just compare kilograms of product. As farmers, and there's lots of farmers in the audience, you know as well as anybody, a kilogram of carrots is completely different to a kilogram of beef. This is a major issue and something that we need to resolve. But also, carbon dioxide equivalents on this side of the metric needs to be considered as well, because of the fact that it's very simple to pull all together all the greenhouse gases, methane, nitrous oxide and carbon dioxide, and produce a very simple metric. This data, which, for example, there's a very important paper produced by the University of Oxford by Paul and Nemeczek, probably people know of it, and they use these global averages to look at the impact of different livestock and agricultural production systems. And they took this global average of beef at about 50 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalents. The danger of using global averages is, of course, that meat consumption and meat rises are different all around the world. And if you have a look at the UK, our consumption patterns have changed. The actual level of meat that we consume hasn't massively increased. We could see there's been a decrease, particularly in terms of red meat consumption. So this is lamb. We've been reducing the amount of lamb we consume in the UK since the 1950s. Of course, what's increased is chicken. And anyone who associates a rising in coronary heart disease and obesity with increased red meat consumption, well, that's the first inverse relationship that I've seen to be causative. There's no clear data that's associated red meat consumption with rising obesity and coronary heart disease. The relationship clearly isn't there. We've been reducing red meat since the 1950s. A danger of using global averages. Of course, as well, I pulled out this data from the University of Cambridge, who made a statement saying that they were going to reduce their carbon footprint of their canteens in universities by removing beef from sale and reduce it by 33%. How did they do that? It was an amazing analysis. They basically took a global average of 50 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalents per kilogram of product, and they extrapolated that by the amount of beef that they consumed. Of course, that's a global average. And we've got dairy bull beef within the UK, which has a level of between 8.9 and 17, and also suckler beef with an average between 23 and 29. And they can be even lower. And of course, this does not even take into account of carbon capture within pasture systems, hedgerows, and also GWP star. So I think simple extrapolations can be dangerous. And I'm not damaging or saying actually the Paul and Nemetschek work was not good. It was extremely good and extremely important. And it does highlight that we can't have status quo and we need to make changes. But we must be careful when we're trying to extrapolate data sets. The other part of the metric which I need to include is when we think about why livestock products or meat are there as part of an Eat Well diet and why they're part of an Eat Well plate. And of course they're there, if you ask a human nutritionist, because they provide key nutrients. So this is an analysis of the key nutrients that livestock products, particularly red meat, provide, and they provide it in a more bioavailable form than plant-based sources. So that's why there's a small but very important amount of livestock products on an Eat Well plate driven by human nutritionists. And that's because they provide these key nutrients. Of course, there are some negatives associated with livestock products, particularly sodium and saturated fatty acids. And what we've done here is to produce an RDI, a recommended daily intake percentage, of collecting these key nutrients from key livestock groups. And if you look at this analysis in terms of carbon dioxide equivalents per the amount of these key nutrients you can provide from a proportion of that food, you will see that actually on this analysis, beef is more sustainable than chicken. Lamb, unfortunately, comes out lower, but we'll come on to lamb in a moment. So just an analysis to show that if you include nutrient density, you can flip the impact scores. So the reason why I flagged that up is to say that actually the message isn't beef is more sustainable than chicken. It's to say actually that this is extremely complex. And depending on which metric you use will determine which particular livestock product or agricultural product comes on top. And the key message there is because of the complexity of these decisions, that University of Cambridge extrapolation can be dangerous or not give us the full picture. So therefore we need to include all metrics of sustainability when we're considering changes. Societal need, rural communities, support for example, the South West. Economics, farms or businesses, we need to ensure that our farmers produce a product at a profit and encouraging young people to want to become the farmers of the future. And of course, environmental. We do need to be the first people that leave this planet in a better place than we inherited it. And it's not as simple as just removing beef from our diets. You can't deliver all these things by just removing red meat. But the starting point, I believe, and the data clearly showing that actually sustainability is driven by the most valuable resource on farm, which is soil. Let's start there and think about soil health. Rothamsted Research is the world's oldest agricultural research organisation, and because we have these long-term experiments and 176 years of data, we can actually start to unpick what is driving sustainability within farming systems. We did some analysis as part of our soil to nutrition programme, and we took 40,000 soil samples across the UK and had a look at what we call the SOC, the soil organic carbon to clay ratio, which basically tells you the holding capacity of carbon for your soil. And what we found in that analysis is that 40% of arable farm soil is degraded. It has not got enough carbon in it to be define as a healthy soil. but only 7% of grassland was degraded and 6% of forests were degraded. Now that's not to say that those arable soils cannot produce. Of course they can produce, but they need more inorganic inputs, nitrogen fertilizers, to be able to produce. So if we want to lower our inputs and produce more, as Minette indicated, we need to find mechanisms driving increasing soil health. Green manure is in there, and there's been some discussions around that, and it is a nice component, a way that can improve soil organic carbon, but by far the best is grass after arable. Basically returning livestock manures, and here's farmyard manures and the ability to do that, back into soils. The error bars are quite large because of differences in soil types. But grass after arable, you need to utilise livestock resources to improve soil health. And not just think about manures as waste, but a vital resource that we can use to improve our farming systems. At Northwick, where I'm based in Rothamsted, we have the world's most instrumented farm called the Northwick Farm Platform. And we can measure all these metrics of sustainability as primary data sets. As part of the Northwick Farm Platform, which consists of 3 small farms, we've classically on grassland soil, as you can imagine, we converted one of our grassland farms into an arable system to determine the impact of what would happen if we take a classical grassland farm within the Southwest into an arable scenario. I think you can see here, this is an annotation of soil loss from our 2 farming systems. This is a flume from one of our arable conversion fields, and this is a flume from our grassland field here. This is a bit like Scotch whisky, and this is like brown milkshake. We lost 8.6 kilograms of topsoil per hectare in 20 hours from our arable system. So grassland is a fantastic terrestrial carbon stock. Let's keep that carbon within the grassland. I said I'll come back onto sheep because one of the important metrics of sustainability, as Minette already indicated, is about biodiversity and about biodiversity loss. And if we want, I think we'd all agree that we don't want to lose any more of the Amazon, we certainly don't want to lose any more steppes or pampinas. And therefore you could say and extrapolate there that we don't want any more agricultural land. We want to retain our rich biodiversity. And if we come up with that statement, then the agricultural land at the moment we need to use more efficiently. And if we use that land more efficiently, as Minette's indicated, that means that arable resources should go to feeding humans, and byproducts and land not suitable for conversion, as I've already shown at Northwick, need to be used for livestock. And therefore, an important metric around sustainability is this arable land use. The amount of arable land used, the metre squared, to provide those key nutrients which I showed earlier. And if you do that comparison, then the most sustainable livestock unit is lamb, in terms of utilising less arable land for providing those key units. And if we talk about levels of consumption, an average male adult should consume about 60 grams of protein per day, and you can either derive all that from plants or all that from livestock, or a sensible component of the two. Actually, a vegan diet will utilise land less efficiently than an omnivorous diet that includes livestock, because livestock can utilise byproducts and land not suitable for growing crops. So actually, in terms of optimal land use for human nutrition, it is a combination of highly valuable livestock commodities and fantastic plant-based products. It is a mixed resource. We are omnivores. My final point, and I know I'm over, but please just allow me to talk around this slide because I really, really like it. We also got to remember, of course, that livestock are more than just food. They are also aesthetically pleasing. I think we'll all agree, apart from George Monbiot, but we'll all agree that this picture is more aesthetically pleasing because there are animals grazing within it. Livestock in the environment are a key historical component of life within the British Isles. I think it's an important part of our history, and I actually love the Lake District. They're also a vital resource in many parts of the world for draft. We need to rediscover natural fibres, whether it be plant or animal. We need to wean ourselves off plastics, and we have a vital resource that we need to rediscover, and there's many, many, many potentials and benefits of both plant and livestock fibres. Livestock products are everywhere, and so they should be. If a sentient being is given its life for performance and nutrients, we need to make sure we utilise every component of that within the supply chain. Very, very damaging extrapolations have occurred. For example, if you consider the decision to strip out steer eggs, 18-0, from products so they could put a vegetarian label on it to remove 18-0 and replace it with palm oil, has had huge impacts in terms of biodiversity. I always said I'd prefer to have my pecan pie without the vegetarian label and orangutans. I've already mentioned about soil health and the importance of returning nutrients to the soil. And then finally, I've been lucky enough to work in many parts of the world, and we have a big program in Africa looking at subsistence farmers and the importance of livestock within those farms. And when we did analysis, the key factor which actually improved that household made sure that women controlled the budget, which is very important within those households, I'm sure you'll all agree. Also, children had education, and the family had the most important nutrients. The most important indicator there was the presence of a goat. So livestock are a critical component of sustainable systems. There's lots of challenges. They don't come without risk, but just to forget about livestock, it will not deliver a pathway to sustainability. Thank you.